It's now day 52. We had of lockdown learning, cab isolation. We had quite a hard frost last night. It got down to minus 1.6 for 3 hours, which doesn't sound long, but it's 1.6 is pretty cold. So I'm just checking the sunflowers this morning. They look like we've got away with it. It's about -3 normally. It can seriously affect them, if not kill them. So hopefully they look a little bit squatted down this morning compared to last night, but hopefully they'll perk up now the sun's out and it gets a bit warmer. So we'll have a look at them later, but I can't see any damage so far, so hopefully they're all right. Just in the sunflower field now. It's now about 7 o'clock, half 7 I think, and they seem to be looking fine and dandy after the cold weather last night, so they recovered well, so happy days. It's now day 59 of cab isolation, lockdown learning. We've had 1.8 mil of rain overnight, so it's enough to sort of, a bit more than that, it's soaked in a little bit, which is good. I'm just at the NHS sunflowers now, which, I dropped my phone, there we go, which seem to be getting a bit overrun in places with this weed. I think it's what they call fat 10, but that's a sunflower obviously, and this is weed. So we don't want it competing for the nutrients in the soil. So we'll see if there's a herbicide that we can use that'll selectively take that out, but we'll leave the sunflowers behind. I'm not sure if there is yet, but got the agronomist looking into it now. So he advises on what we can use and where. So he's a bit like a plant doctor really. So we'll see what he comes back with. But otherwise, they're going away okay. They're out of harm's way from the pigeons now. So the plastic hawk over there, you can't see zoom in with this lens, is doing a job, or his job, whichever. We've got a bit of haze still in the distance now, but I think that's actually the wind picking up the moisture off the soil and blowing it. It doesn't mean there's actually any more rain coming, so it's a bit of a shame really. It's quite windy, it's giving gale force winds for today. So the rain came about 2 o'clock in the morning, so hopefully most of that's soaked in before the rain got too strong. So that's an update from the NHS sunflowers anyway. So it's now everyone's favourite day, day 69 of lockdown learning. That's one for the adults, the kids won't get that. As you can see, I'm stood in a field of sunflowers. They're looking brilliant. They're all tilted that way because that's where the sun is. Yeah, I think they look fantastic. They're doing definitely better doing more than the NHS ones. I've got my daft hat on because today's World Milk Day. So today's letter of the day is M for milk. And if you have it with Cocoa Pops, it makes your milk chocolatey. So I'm going to take my hat off to the dairy farmers because I couldn't get up at that time every day in the morning about 4 o'clock and get pooed on by a cow. But they do it 7 days a week so that we can all enjoy our breakfast, our tea, our coffee and everything else that milk goes into, including chocolate, as long as it's dairy milk. So we're going to be moving some hay today and baling a bit more, hopefully, unless it rains, but I don't think it's going to, but it'd be good if it did. And I think Judy's calling in as well from the BBC, because the BBC like a good weather story again. So with it being dry, we're going to do a bit of a piece on that as well for local Northwest news. Just a quick update on the NHS sunflowers. I don't know if you can see that sort of curve here. That's the S. So they're doing well now. There's a few here that have been damaged probably by the frost, but some of these here, you know, they're getting up to maybe a foot tall now. There's a lot of weed in them at the moment, which unfortunately we're going to have to hand weed because there's nothing else we can do. The grass that's sown around the outside hasn't started to really come up yet, but again some of the weeds have. There's a few little sprigs of grass just showing through there, but not enough to make it into like a lawn, which I was hoping for. But hopefully now we've had this rain, we've had about 8.1 mil of rain last night. Hopefully everything should start growing pretty well now. Unfortunately the weeds will as well, so we will try and clean them out of it if we can with the hoe. Just in the sunflower field now. I think they've doubled in height since yesterday. I mean, if you look at this one here next to the size of that trowel, I don't know whether you can see, but it's nearly twice as big. So they're looking really well. I mean, it's a shame about the NHS ones being so weedy. This field isn't at all. This is the 7-acre field of them, but they look great, and there doesn't seem to be many sort of curled up leaves now as well, or brown crispy bits on them. So hopefully they got away with the frost. It's a bit hard to see on the video, but it's quite dry still, the soil here. So the rain, the 8 mil of rain, according to the trusty trowel, it's only soaked in sort of 2 inch, 5 centimeters. It's that's still quite dry soil really. But anyway, hopefully we'll get some more on Saturday. The top's really nice, and it's nice and warm as well, so things should definitely keep growing. The sunflowers, they're loving this weather. So, looks stunning. They're about 18 inches tall all over, growing away no problem. So they should look incredible when they're all in flower. Just out on the sprayer now in the sunflowers. So a lot of this little weed is what we call fat hen, and it just seems to be taken over, and then the sunflowers are the bigger things. So someone's, I know through Twitter, has said, oh, why don't you try this chemical? It should be able to kill the fat hen but leave the sunflowers alone. So I'm just putting it on at half rate as an experiment to see if it works, because I don't want to kill the sunflowers. So I've done patch in one field, and I'm just doing this strip on this field, but like the NHS stuff is kind of like round that corner. I don't want to kill that because it took a long time growing that, so I'm just trying on some bits that don't really matter, and at half rate, and hopefully that should do the job. And then if it works, we'll go into the NHS sunflowers and do the rest of them. Just in where the sunflowers are now, you can see this dark line there. That's where the sprayer had a blocked jet, and it's not sprayed the weed within the sunflowers. So you can see that it's already having an effect, that the what they call the fat end's keeled over, and you can see the whites of its leaves, but where it's missed, it's still stood upright, and that's why it's this darker stripe here. And the sunflowers have just curled a little bit, but they should still survive. So that's good, because we found something that can actually kill fat hen in sunflowers. A week ago now, I sprayed off this in the bottom, this what we call fat hen in the sunflower plants. So though the sunflower plants still look kind of healthy, you can see they've got a bit of yellowing on the leaves, and it has sort of stunted the growth a bit and made them look a little bit sick, because when you come across to this side of the field, they're obviously a lot greener. So there's where they've been sort of knocked back a bit, and this is where they're getting away perfectly healthy. So it just shows you that, you know, the chemical, although it did definitely take out the weed, it certainly gave the sunflowers a headache from that to that. But you know, they're still growing. Hopefully they'll recover, and you know, they'd have done a lot worse if they'd have been totally swamped out by this what we call fat hen, which is all this stuff now dying in the bottom. It's all shriveling up. Otherwise it'd have been higher than them now, and you wouldn't be able to see them. So I know it was only a bit of an experiment, but we'll keep monitoring it and see what happens. But the rest of the field looks stunning, and it's going to look amazing in a few weeks. I'm undecided whether to actually mow a maze into it, and people can come and walk around it, or something like that. I don't know yet. Problem is, it takes a lot of staff to run it. So if anyone's volunteering for something to do at the end of August, beginning of September, then there might be a job for you. Just realised I'm stood in the middle of a field looking at the sunflowers. I'm the tallest thing around here, apart from a few trees in the distance, and I can hear thunder over there. So I think it's time I went and had my tea. Just walking through the sunflowers now. I don't know if you can see, but they're kind of waist height. Look amazing. I'm gonna go and check the NHS ones now. Birds in the sunflowers. It's good because they're eating the aphids. Just here now at the NHS sunflowers. So this is the S going sort of round there. You can't obviously see it without a drone. It's a bit weedy around the edge, but we're gonna mow that later. Birds are loving it up here. I can hear them tweeting away. The grass in the middle is now starting to grow. That's a little bit weedy, but again we can mow that out. But you can see the stripes in the grass there. So hopefully that should grow and thicken out like a lawn. So yeah, it's all looking good. Just back in the sunflowers now. We're not really growing that much today. I know I said bye, but I've decided to add a bit on the end. and then anyone listening to the end will answer the questions, and it'll filter out the people that don't. Basically, I've got 9 acres now of sunflowers that look amazing. I'm thinking of going through with a mower and mowing 5-foot paths through it, kind of like a maze, but not a difficult one, because I don't want people getting lost in it and social distancing, bumping into people. I'm thinking of maybe charging people sort of like £5 entry, and they can go and look around the maze and go and see the NHS sunflowers, which are over there, so it should be a nice walk if it's a nice day. And then I could probably give 50% of the profits to the NHS maybe. Someone said, oh, can you buy the sunflowers? Well, that could be a possibility as well, but there might be none left if we end up with sort of 10 weeks of visitors, I don't know. So I just need to come up with a plan now of where I can park an ice cream van, where I can get a coffee cellar to park. I know someone with a pizza oven, and then some staff to run it really, and then I can get on combine, and in August and September people can come visit this field of sunflowers. So I'd appreciate anyone's thoughts of how I could do it. Thanks. Got a tape measure. There's the 5-foot mark, so they're up to there. So the 4-foot mark's there, so they're getting near 5 foot tall, covered in ladybirds, if you can see. Oh, let me turn the camera. There you go. See, they're covered in ladybirds. So there's one on that one, there's one on that one, there's loads of them. So you can see the flower just about to start forming in the middle there. So I spoke to a couple of people, and they reckon that within the next sort of like 2 weeks they might start to be flowering. So I'm gonna have to get the mower in, mow a maze, build a website, sort somewhere out to park cars, and hopefully people can book a 5-minute time slot, and every 5 minutes we can let a sort of a family through, and they'll be able to walk around and through it all, go right up the field up there, visit the NHS ones, the letters up there, and then come back, and then maybe we can get an ice cream seller, or someone doing coffee, and someone else maybe doing pizzas and different things, and it can be a bit of a day out for people, or well, at least a few hours or whatever it'll take to sort of walk around them. So I'll probably need some volunteers or some staff to run it and sort the website out. That's the plan anyway. I've just seen a dragonfly. Hold on, where's it gone? Oh, it's flown off. Little blue dragonfly about that big. Plenty of butterflies over there. No, I can't see it. Just in the sunflowers now. Again, ladybirds on them, loving them, which is good because they eat aphids. So nice to see the ladybird population getting away. They're obviously now sort of nearly chin height, which is good. They're all pointing with the flower heads bolt upright because the sun's up there above us. So later on, as the sun goes down, they'll kind of twist over to follow it. Hope the ladybird doesn't fall off. No. So I need to make a decision now how much of a maze or trail to mow into them, and get in with something and mow sort of a 5-foot, 1.5 metre path through it. And then I'm thinking of having a website so that you can book 5-minute time slots to enter, and then everyone sort of 5-minute spacings throughout the maze of the trail. I could probably make it about 1 kilometre long through this field, and then if they carry on higher up to the NHS maze, they can go around that as well. So that's the plan. So we'll try and get on with that this week and get it organised, because I reckon in about sort of 10 to 14 days they'll start to flower, and they probably won't flower for much longer than sort of like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 5 at the most, if that. So really need to get on with it. So there we go, that's about it for today.